The immigration fighters are coming towards North Carolina. They're actually coming for over 30 states across the USA. Listen to this video.
Joe Bruno from Channel 9. There are a lot of rumors right now about Border Patrol coming to Charlotte. I have some confirmed information. Sheriff Gary McFadden tells us that he has confirmed through 2 different federal agencies that Border Patrol agents are coming to Charlotte. They will be here as soon as Saturday, but they also may get here next week.
Now, I'm already seeing that some of the agents and some of the militarized equipment is already in Charlotte, North Carolina. There's already boots on the street. The protesters are being paid by organizations to get out into the streets already. And I hear the cartel is kind of running scared because they know their time is almost up there.
This operation that they'll be conducting is focused on known criminal targets, but he also says that the agents aren't going to turn a blind eye to anybody else they encounter. As a result of this, we are starting to see event cancellations. The Colombian Chamber of
By God, gonna dominate. You're the state instruments of hard power.
In Chicago.
So this is a little video of what happened and what they're bringing to North Carolina. This is a very limber robot coming out of China, and they're saying that Chinese robotics really blows American robotics out of the water, that there will be a robot in every house in China this year or next year.
That happened in Los Angeles.
So
you
sad.
have people who are still trying to get the permitting to rebuild their houses. This happened so long ago. So we've got to get our blue states to build enough houses for their citizens, because our red states and the federal government is actually doing a really good job. By the way, you know, one of the biggest cities where you're seeing housing costs come down? Austin, Texas.
Now listen to what JD Vance has to say about robotics.
Technology, it's going to raise everybody's wake away from a blue collar worker who can do that job. I understand why people are worried that, you know, if you have a robot doing that job, does it take away from a blue collar worker who can do that job? Right now, the evidence that I see is that if we really lean into robotics and technology, it's going to raise everybody's wages and make everybody better off. The example that I often give is of bank tellers. If you go back to when the automated teller machine was invented, everybody said it was going to destroy the jobs of all the bank tellers. What actually happened is that today you have more people working in bank telling than you did 50 years ago. They're doing different jobs. They're not just handing people money. They're doing different jobs, but they have higher wages. So
now, JD Vance isn't wrong with that, and there are going to be small groups of companies that will expand with robotics and AI, but for the most part, they're going to decelerate in their hiring and employment. Take Walmart, for example. How many active cashiers do you see inside of Walmart? Not very many. How many active supervisors do you see in areas that can be supervised using robotics or AI? Not very many. And now they're coming out with ways to put shingles on top of roofs with robotics. Do you think that they're going to hire more contractors because of that? No, you'll just need 1 or 2 guys that can watch over the machine.
And so gaslighting the people and trying to tell them that prices have come down is not helping. It's actually infuriating people, because people know what they're paying at the grocery store. They know what they're paying for their kids' clothes and school supplies. They know what they're paying for their electricity bills. And so that approach does not work. We need compassion.
Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about how the administration is right now, in all intents and purposes, gaslighting the American people by telling them prices are way down. A few small metrics are down. Fuel down, but fuel is seasonal anyways. They've always been able to make fuel cheaper. They've just allowed, through the amount of fuel that they will bring out of this earth and what they will turn into gasoline, to artificially inflate the prices. Eggs, that was only artificially inflated because of a big scare. They were killing off all the chickens. All these problems were artificial. But when you look at the grocery store, your electrical bill, there is no way you can tell me that things are cheaper today.
discovered a flaw in America's largest private surveillance network, and it's a nightmare for anyone who drives a car. The company is Flock Safety. They have cameras in thousands of cities that create a searchable map of your life. They sold it to police as a secure, private system, but a judge in Washington just ruled that every photo their cameras take is a public record. In theory, that means anyone, your angry ex, a stalker, a private investigator, could file a request to see a log of where you drive. And the cities are so terrified of this ruling, they're now in a panic. This one ruling in Washington just exposed that the private surveillance network across the US, the one you drive through every day, might not be private after all.
Now, I've seen these in my nearby cities. I'm sure that you have seen them in yours. They're oftentimes set up in areas like grocery stores, shopping plazas. You're seeing these things everywhere. What they do is they track not just your vehicle and put it into a database where they can see everywhere your vehicle went that day. They also take a picture to see if you were on your phone, so that if there was any criminal activity happening in that vehicle, if you're in a hands-free state where you couldn't have your phone. Now they have a reason to come either send you a ticket or give you a ticket. The cartels are using these systems right now to find marks and targets. This is also how the anti-ICE protesters are using these systems to database where they can dox ICE and immigration enforcement officials. A 47-year-old airline pilot, alpha gal syndrome, red meat allergy caused by tick bites. Now this is, listen to this.
So I'll give two examples. So one is that people eat too much meat, right? And if they were to cut down on their consumption on meat, then they would it would actually really help the planet. But people are not willing to give up meat. Yeah, some people will be willing to, but other people, they may be willing to, but they have a weakness of will. They say, wow, this steak is just too juicy. I can't do it. I'm one of those, by the way. So, but so here's the thought, right? So it turns out that we know a lot about, we have these intolerance to, for example, I have milk intolerance. And some people are intolerant to crayfish. So possibly we can use human engineering to make it the case that we're intolerant to certain kinds of meat, to certain kinds of bovine proteins. And
so they're already planning to do this, and now they have ticks that readily give people a red meat intolerance. Well, isn't that just a great way to make sure humans stop eating meat? This is Thailand, where severe flooding just washed through the streets. Now, I'm old enough to remember that flooding is not new to this earth. But I've been in this game long enough to know that the volume of flooding that we've seen this year is not normal. And so we are going through some sort of heavy cycle there.
Called Whose Insurance Premium is Going to Be Higher? This is the result of the big, beautiful bill in real time. For most people, open enrollment is happening right now, whether it's for their company or through the marketplace. And I got a sneak peek of what my insurance premium will be in 2026 with that big, beautiful bill that passed. My family and I do have a marketplace plan. We have 6 dependents. We both work full-time. But for several reasons, we have a plan through the marketplace. We've had that plan for almost 3 years, I would say. For 6 dependents, family of 8, our premiums are pretty high as is in 2025 at $1,100 a month. That does not include dental and vision. If we stayed on the exact same plan or same coverage type, our insurance premium is projected to go up $1,500.
That's crazy. This is some video that came out as the Southern Command Area of Responsibility, that's the U.S. preparing for a Venezuelan attack, shows the F-35B Lightning IIs armed with the Sidewinder air-to-air missile systems. The Marine Fighting Attack Squadron is seen right here, loaded up, guns ready, ammunition ready, missile ready to take on when Trump says go.
I'm actually in West Virginia now, undergoing training with several hundred Border Patrol agents, and you're going to see us redeploy to. It could be a New York, it could be a Chicago. Pritzker is going to see
about medical freedom for humans and the desire to not have mandates telling us what we have to put in our bodies. Food freedom is an extension of that. We want the ability to eat meat that isn't that full of these inputs. We'd also like to be fully informed. I mean, let's talk about the Nuremberg trials.
And let's also talk about how they're gluing red meat together, calling it a whole grass-fed steak, when they're actually taking really junky pieces of meat and a protein meat glue to put it together and sell it to you without telling you. Like that video I showed you yesterday. You might be eating 100 different ingredients, many of them synthesized or altogether not great for you, when you just try to make a meal like tacos at home.
So starting January 1, SNAP dollars in Iowa can only be used to purchase non-taxable food items.
I've been saying this for a long time. They don't want to do better, but they don't want to follow rules. Now the state of Iowa has the wise decision, hey, no more sugary drinks, no more candy. Why are we funneling money into people then we're going to have to essentially take care of their health problems because they're not paying for shit?
Absolutely right.
In just 10 days, we've been able to remove, in partnership with the state of Florida, over 230 of the worst heinous criminals from their streets.
Biden administration, we need a good job to pay good wages. We need people to be able to go to the grocery store and actually buy what they need for their family. That takes a little bit of time. And I know that.
So here's JD Vance and the administration walking back a little bit that you're starting to see lower prices because you are not seeing lower prices yet. It's actually going to be months and months until you start to get some relief. I hope that everybody watching this channel is a little bit prepared ahead of the game so that you could maybe weather this storm. Weathering the storm is what this community is all about, getting ready for harder times because they are literally around the corner. You're watching Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube. Please make sure that you click the hype button down there. We're also on x.com. Please clip this video up, share it with friends and family. Tell everyone that things are not going to get better. They're actually going to get worse first, and then we will see a brighter future. From my family to yours, thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here with us. And stay safe.